Well, I had my head x-rayed and they found nothing.
It was empty. It was totally hollow. So the surgery went okay, or?
Yeah, it was okay. It was okay.
Blessings.
Place of beef is going up,
I'm
man.
exhausted.
Anyway, before it gets to you.
I'll talk to him today. Last night.
How much that cost?
A lot of wet. Cattle.
Wow.
Well,
We're having a seizure. Oh, so if the phone rings.
Just step aside. I'm gonna get in front of you just so you don't fall on it, okay? But if you wanna sit down, just look at it, I'll grab it, okay?
Sounds good.
dollar for dollar.
Do you need coffee or anything? You have some?
Water. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah, I'll be right.
Yeah, all right.
You okay? Yeah, I'm awesome.
All right, everybody. Good morning. Good morning.
Whenever you're ready.
All righty, I'll be there in just a second. Size of this packet today.
You live for me?
Oh, it's-
Hey, sir.
I had a call from Cavallero yesterday that they picked West Dundee picked up their check Friday afternoon. So, yeah.
All right, good morning, everybody. It is Wednesday, June 6th at, what is it, about 9:03? Give or take, 9:01. So let's begin the committee meeting, the executive committee meeting. I was kind enough, Jane was pulled out and printed the packet for my review yesterday since I was at computer. How much material we have to get through today. So, here we go. It's going to be a good meeting. So we'll call it to order, and may we please, let's see, who would like to volunteer from the audience to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance? Roger.
Somebody moved our flag.
Moved our flag. Oh, no.
Hey,
I didn't even see it.
yes.
Add the presentation of the colors to.
Our recording secretary is going to start wearing stars and stripes.
I want to say that the flag was moved for the carpet cleaning, so sorry about that.
Mr. Berman has raised the flag.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful flag.
All right. Okay, you ready? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, Republic,
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, and liberty for all.
Very good.
Thank you.
We had to do some splendid voices.
Attendance.
We're going to have to work on our choral harmony here. So could we please have a roll call?
Bates. Here. Berman.
Here.
Ford. Fries,
Here.
Gums,
Gums here.
Kenyon,
Here.
Caius,
Vice President.
Martin,
Here.
Molina,
Molina present.
Sanchez,
Here.
Strathman,
Here.
Surges,
Here.
Tepe,
Jeppy here.
Weber,
Present.
Shepro,
Here.
Prague.
And I think Mr. Ford will probably be joining us because he was in attendance at another meeting that was running late. So I'm sure he'll be here in a little bit. All righty. May I have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from the December 2nd, 2020 meeting?
Gums motions to accept.
And
Vice second.
what was it? Mrs. Gums was second? Kaya second, okay. We have to work quicker with the people online. They can't see us. Are they able to, they're no longer able to see all the members of, who are in attendance because we don't have computers up here, is that correct?
I can bring that over.
Okay.
You can see there anybody that has video on.
Oh, very
There
good.
is a view of the room on my screen.
Okay, very good, very good,
We-
thank you.
We can see you, Corinne.
Okay, excellent, thank you. All righty,
Roll call for the minutes.
roll call for the minutes, thank you.
Bates,
Yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Mr. Ford, Fries,
Yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Kenyon,
Kenyon, yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surges,
Surges, yes.
Tepe,
Jeppy, yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Shepro.
Yes.
They're passed.
Okay, move. Minutes are approved. Is there any public comment? Is there any public comment online or on the phone? Hearing none. Mr. Onset, could you please present the monthly financials?
Good morning, everyone. What I normally do is just take a few minutes to highlight some of the things for this benefit of the executive committee that were presented at the finance committee. So I just have a couple of things to point out that was in my report. One is that as of November 30th, we've collected about $3.7 million less revenue in the general fund compared to what was collected at the same time last year. We still have another 2 months to go in terms of accruing possible revenue, in particular items such as sales tax. So this is by no means a final figure, but we should have a more final figure by the end of January. But that gives you a sense of where we're at. So we had originally estimated that we could be as much as $6 million below last year. So the fact that we're only $3.7 million is actually encouraging. Also, I just would like to mention that the health insurance fund has a balance of just over $7 million. And that's increase is primarily the result of the transfer of the reserve that had built up in the IPBC that was sent to us the beginning of December. It was $1.4 million. So we are, our target for the health insurance fund reserve is 9 million. So we are making progress towards that. And the last thing I'd like to mention from my report is that in terms of the individual state revenues that we share in, this would include sales tax, local use tax, RTA sales tax, state income tax, personal property replacement tax. For those items in particular, we're running roughly about $600,000 below budget and $600,000 compared to where we were at last year. And otherwise, when we get to the point in the agenda where we're discussing funding for the public information officer position, I'll be happy to review that with you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions for Mr. Onsick? Have we seen, just a quick question, within November sales and December sales because of the holiday season, have we seen an uptick in that number for our sales tax revenue?
Well, there's actually a delay of about 2 to 3 months before we actually receive the sales tax for a given month. So we won't know the answer to that until probably February, in terms of what happened in December. So we have a little ways to go yet. But let's see, according to my report, which is what we do know, this goes through sales through the month of September, and we did see for the first time in the month of September that we were actually ahead of sales for that month, given the same month last year.
Okay, so we'll hopefully see some additional revenue coming in to help make up that shortfall.
Yes.
Okay, very good. Thank you. Any other questions? No? Okay. So now I'm going to be calling on each committee chair to move resolutions forward or to pull them. So executive committee. And that is myself.
Madam Chair, I'll move authorization of actions relative to the tax agent.
Mr. Shepro.
I will second that.
Okay. Do we need to take a vote on that? Just move it. Oh. Okay, could we please have a vote on that? Roll call.
Bates. Berman.
Yes.
Ford. Fries. Gums.
Yes.
Kenyon.
Yes.
Caius.
Caius, yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Molina.
Molina, yes.
Sanchez.
Yes.
Strathman.
Strathman, yes.
Sturgis.
Sturgis, yes.
Tepe.
Tepe, yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Shepro.
Yes.
I don't think you called my name.
I'm
May I
sorry.
say-
Miss Bates?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thought I heard it. Okay, so that passes through. Mr. Berman, finance budget. Where would you like to move all of these 11 items, please? Mr. Berman, are you online?
He's shown as muted right now.
There he is.
He's unmuted, so.
Mr. Berman, are you with us?
Yes, I am.
There you are, Dale. Good. Dale, did you hear? Would you like to move all 11 items?
Yes, I would like to move all 11 items.
May I have a second? Okay.
I'll second.
Sturgis, second.
You're just. Could you please call the roll?
Madam Chairman?
Yes?
Yes. My understanding was that when some of these items were moved from finance, it was with the expectation that there might be some additional discussion and information. And Director Onsick spoke about that with respect to the public information officer position. And I wonder if that ought to be discussed separately.
That's number 4.
And, well, I have no issue with that, and that indeed is the case. But so far, we have a second to move all forward. So if that is.
I think that motion might be out of order. Is there, I don't know that there's anything in the rules of order that specifically permit an en masse consent agenda type motion at executive committee. But I'm willing to be educated.
Well, so am I. But it seems to me that normally consent agenda would go in its entirety unless someone speaks to removing one of
Number
those
4.
items from the consent agenda.
I'm sorry, who was talking? There's a
Mr.
sideways
Berman was
conversation.
talking.
So, Mr. Berman, would you like to move all 11 items forward, or would you like to
Well, that
remove?
was my motion.
That is your motion. And is there a
Someone would
second?
like to remove an item from that, we will remove that item and then approve the other 10.
I would like to remove item 4.
Okay, so I think we have to remove, rescind your first motion. There goes my sign again.
Do that.
We'll have to suspend or remove your first motion. Is that correct?
Yes,
Because it was seconded?
I'll withdraw my second.
Okay, thank you.
withdraw the motion. My motion now would be to approve all but item number 4 in our consent agenda.
Okay, very good. And Mr. Martin, I believe, would you like to second that? Okay. And we have a roll call on that, please?
Bates,
Yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Ford, Fries,
Yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Kenyon, Caius,
Caius, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surges,
Sturgis, yes.
Tepe,
Pepe, yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Shepro.
Yes,
So that was to approve all finance items except item 4.
Except item 4.
My motion now would be to approve item number 4 so we can discuss it.
And
second,
second was by whom?
Shepro.
Okay. And
Now we have discussion on,
we can have discussion on this, but please, just a minute. Miss Brady is online. Trying to handle all of this. Ms. Brady, would you like to make your comment, please, before we begin our discussion on item number 4?
Good morning, Madam Chair. No, I'm sorry. I think it's been taken care of appropriately. I was just going to make a suggestion for how to proceed with all 11 motions at once.
Okay.
Typically, if they're all moved by the chair of the committee, each will be introduced and discussed by one by one before a vote's taken. But I think with what you've done now, I think you're fine.
All right, very good. Okay, thank
that
you.
would be noted in the future.
Absolutely, absolutely. We'll make sure that we vote one at a time.
Thank you, Counselor.
So the floor is open for discussion. Mr. Martin?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I was one of the votes that at the Finance Committee that voted no on this, and the principal reason, the only reason I voted no was because I was concerned about the funding source being a reserve fund, and that has been eliminated. And I wanted to compliment Mr. Onsick and I've got a mental block. The guy with the glasses on his head.
Oh, Roger.
Roger Fonstock, for what I consider to be a great and creative effort in accomplishing this. So I support this now and would like to move it, see it go ahead to the consent agenda for next week's meeting.
Thank you, thank you.
Director Onsick had indicated in his opening remarks that he had some additional information to present, and I just wondered what that would be.
Mr. Onsick, why don't you clarify for the members of the committee what the funding sources are?
Sure, it's nothing new that I have to add. It's what was sent out. I would suggest, I think, as a matter of procedure, that the resolution that someone asked for it to be amended and be replaced by the version that was posted separately on the website, which contains this new budget adjustment information. And I'd be happy to walk through it so that everyone understands what it is. So in response to the request from the Finance Committee members and Madam Chair, we had worked on coming up with alternative funding sources. The first one listed on, there's a sheet that was sent out to you and is posted on the website that's entitled Update on Sources of Funding for Public Information Officer Position. And the sources that were identified was that there was actually a total of $23,251 already included in the county board office budget. And this was to help reimburse IT staff for their additional expense in performing the function of the community outreach coordinator in the absence of that position. Well, that actually did not materialize as had been planned. So those budget dollars were then free to be used to fund this position. There was also, along with that, was money in the FICA and IMRF budget that was associated with the expense of the IT personnel that then also became available. So that's the $3,298. Then I heard from Mr. Mark Van Kerkhoff, the Executive Director of Development, that the Economic Development Fund had $15,000 included in its budget for an association membership that, if I understood correctly, had been disbanded, and the new association that we would participate in does not have a membership fee. And so the $15,000 that had been budgeted for that fee would then be available both for this year and going forward. Although I would note that the source of the economic development budget is the riverboat grant. So what this would mean then is we'd be using $15,000 that originally came from a riverboat grant to the Economic Development Fund. And this would be an appropriate use to fund a public information officer position with. And then next year, it would probably be better to have the riverboat grant put that directly into the budget for the public information officer rather than indirectly through economic development. But either way, it's a permanent source of funding that could be used. Then about the time that we were finalizing the budget, we became aware of an expiring TIF district in the Carpentersville area that would increase our property tax revenue by approximately $28,000. That was not included in the original budget, so we are able to increase our property tax revenue by that amount, and that would also then could be used to fund this position. Then there was also, Mr. Fonstock had made me aware of a retirement within his department, which then, from what I understand, the position would be replaced by a lower paid position, which would free up some additional budget dollars from the IT budget. That's the $13,505 that could be applied to this position. And then there's also the IMRF and FICA portion of the budget that goes along with that, and that's the $2,221. So all of those funding sources, along with then the last one that we became aware of, thanks to Mr. Armstrong, who forwarded the information to us, is that there was a TIF district distribution, a one-time distribution of $26,651 that we became aware of in the month of December. It's a one-time distribution, but it certainly could be used to help fund this position. So all of these individual items together add up to exactly the amount that is needed to fund the position. Now, the total that you see here to fund the position, the $111,000 $926 is different than what you saw in the original resolution last month. It's less, and that's because the resolution we had at the Finance Committee was the total for an entire year's worth of salary and benefits. And what we're looking at for this year is just what we need going forward from the board meeting to the end of the fiscal year. So it's a partial year, and that cost is for $111,926. So as you can see, it's completely taken care of by all these funding sources. Next year, we'll have a full year's worth of expense, so and plus presumably a 2% increase. So that's why the amount increases from 2021 to 2022, from the 111,000 to the 129,000. And then that leaves us a shortfall next year of about 44,000. As you probably remember, we normally used to have a $50,000 riverboat grant. So it's possible next year that we could reinstate that grant, or between now and then, we may have other additional sources of funding that we could apply. During the process, I also want to mention that we did reach out to all of the departments under the authority of the county board and asked if they had anything in their budget that could be used or applied towards funding this position. We did receive a response from the Veterans Commission, and they were happy to contribute some unused dollars in their budget this year that had been used or had been set aside for a benefit expense that an employee chose not to take. It was roughly $6,000. But the Veterans Commission also reports to the commission, so it would require approval by them. And I just wanted to make you aware that they're willing to do that. Also, CANCOM was willing to contribute something, but it would have to be taken out of their reserve, and they would require the CANCOM board approval. And also KDOT was willing to contribute $10,000 out of their budget, but they would have to carefully justify that expense, since all of their revenue sources have to do with federal funding, state funding, RTA sales tax funding, and motor fuel tax funding. So although they did volunteer, and I think it's important that you know of their voluntary contribution, I did not include those here because I was just hesitant to only take from a few of those departments when it wasn't actually needed for this year, but it could become part of the solution for next year.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Madam Chair, when this came through finance, I was very supportive of it, with the reservation and comments that coming from reserve was not something I would be in favor of. I did draw some criticism from some of my fellow commissioners and put out a few emails in the interim, including reaching out to both Roger and Joe. And boy, these two guys just rolled up their sleeves to get it done. And across the county, I believe the message was received well. And I am very pleased that we sit here today in executive with the solution to find a way to move this forward. And I think it was truly a team effort, and I just wanted to communicate that openly.
Thank you very much for those
Madam
comments.
Chair, I would like to move to amend and replace the resolution on the floor with the resolution as revised by the finance director, which we have before us.
I think I have to second that, and I will do that. Doing that if I was the.
Okay, Mr. Martin?
I second it.
Okay, very good. All right,
Is
so
that,
could we,
is that a motion to amend, a motion to approve?
Was a motion to amend and replace the motion to approve.
Very good.
yeah, we've got the second. So do we have, yes?
I just
I'll
wanted to make
second
a
it.
comment.
Hold on just a second. Yes.
I just wanted to make a comment. This is a really good example of making something happen. You know, creating a new position is a big deal, especially on a tight budget. And something I hear from constituents a lot, and I think a lot of us do, is you guys should do this, you guys should do that. and people come at us with great ideas, but how do we fund it? And so this is a good idea that we've had before us in how to fund it. All these different lines here, just showing where all the money has to come from to fund this on a permanent basis. It's a really good example for us and for the public to see how difficult it is to actually make something happen that we should do. You know, that some would say, oh, it's easy. You got the money, go ahead and do it. Well, it's not always so simple. So this is a really great job done here. I'm happy that we've figured this out. And again, just a great example of making it happen.
Thank you, Mr. Sanchez.
Madam Chairman, can I make a comment?
Yes, of course, Mr. Berman.
For those of us that are on Zoom and our own, we can see each other. We can see the entire group at the boardroom, but we don't know who's speaking. So if you're going to speak in the boardroom, if you could declare who you are, we would know who's talking.
I would agree with you, Mr. Berman. I think that's just, that's very appropriate. Is there any other discussion on this? Yes, Mr. Ford.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Yeah, I agree with everything's been said here today about the efforts. I applaud. This was a very short period of time, and with the holiday passing through, I really applaud staff. Just one question about the TIF that you mentioned. What are what was the TIF set aside for? So are the funds broken out in different ways from the TIF? Or is it just the general?
I'm not quite sure I understand the question. It's just an amount that I was, perhaps, do I see?
Ron?
Madam Chair, I think what I heard was that a TIF was expiring, making funds available, not that there was any limitation to it, correct?
Oh, that's correct, yes.
Yes.
What
The
happens
TIF
when
was
a TIF
expiring, giving us money that we weren't receiving before.
Right, I understand that, but usually a TIF is designed for a certain purpose. So I just want to make sure that that has been met before, along with what we're trying to do with the funds.
When the TIF expires, the money basically the property goes back on the full tax rolls, regardless of what the status of the TIF project is at that point.
Okay,
Thank you. That is correct. And Mr. Ford, if I may make a comment, you did challenge us to get this done in 2 or 3 days. And I'd like to remind you that for those of us who do practice, that God was given 6 days and was allowed to rest on the 7th. So I would like to.
I just want to keep us out of trouble. That's.
I would like to commend this team, this amazing team effort that was put through to get this funded. Are there any other questions? Hearing none, seeing none. So I think we need to have a vote on the amendment to this, the change amendment to this resolution. So could we please have the vote?
Bates,
Yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Ford,
Yeah. Yes.
Combs,
yes.
Kenyon,
Kenyon, yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Sturgis,
Burgess, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Thank you. So now, may we please have a vote on the actual resolution authorizing the creation of a public information officer?
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Fries,
Yes.
Gums,
yes.
and Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Strathman,
Yes.
Sturgis,
Burgess, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Weber.
Yes.
Passes.
Oh, thank you.
Madam Clerk? My name was not called.
I'm so sorry. Shepro?
Yes, and I voted yes on the motion to amend and replace also.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to everyone for your support on this. It's going to be a very important position for us to have, and I look forward to bringing this forward to the full board for your consideration and hopefully the full board's vote and approval. So thank you again, and thank you to Mr. Feinstock and to Mr. Onsick for all of your hard work, and to all of the departments who graciously shared their comments, their thoughts, and their support for this new position. So a big handout and shout of thanks to them as well. So with that, we're moving forward to judicial and public safety. Is Ms. Molina online?
Yes, good morning. Good morning, Madam Chairman.
Good morning.
We are requesting, I'm moving one resolution from the Judicial and Public Safety Committee, and that is an intergovernmental agreement between the City of Aurora and the City of Elgin for the execution of the 2020 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grant Program.
Second.
Second by Mr. Sanchez. Okay, so could we have a vote on the other resolutions, please?
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Herman, yes.
Ford,
Ford, yes.
Fries,
Yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surges,
Burgess, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Shepro,
Yes.
passes.
Okay. They all pass. So now, may we please have a vote, a motion to approve the intergovernmental agreement between the City of Aurora and the City of Elgin for the execution of the 2020 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant.
Burns.
We did. I believe that's what we just approved. We just did that.
Next item is public service.
Oh, my apologies. I
Public
was
service.
going through the papers. Duh. All right. I got so excited about the public information officer.
Madam Chair, I'd like to move that we authorize the intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Sugar Grove and the County of Kane for administration of raffle and poker run permits.
Burgess,
Second.
Mr. Surges, second. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Herman, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Fries, Gums,
Gums,
Kenyon?
yes.
Thank you. Mr. Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surges,
Burgess, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Shepro,
Yes.
Yes. Okay, very good. Next, transportation, Mr. Froz.
Excuse me. Yes, Madam Chairman. I have 9 items. I'd like to move all 9.
Okay, and do I have a second?
Martin, seconds.
Martin seconds.
If you'd prefer, I'll go through them, or traditionally, the chairman of each committee goes through the items very quickly.
Absolutely go through them.
So item number 1 approves the 2021 county motor fuel tax appropriation for road maintenance. Item 2 approves the county's 50% share of the county's engineer's salary, with the balance of 50% paid for by federal funds. Item 3 approves a funding agreement for the Ride and Cane program between Kane County PACE and the Association for Individual Development. Item 4 approves the alteration of a speed limit on Allen Road near Harmony Road. This is by the Prairie Ridge subdivision, and it reduces it to 45 miles an hour in that area. Item 5 approves a contract for construction with Geneva Construction out of Aurora. This is for the Kirk Dunham intersection improvement project. Item 6 approves a contract for construction with MYS Incorporated for 3 different bridge rehabilitation projects
Stearns Road, Dunham Road, and Burlington Road. Item 7 approves Phase 3 Construction Engineering Services Agreement with V3 Companies for the Kirk Dunham Intersection Project. Item 8 approves Phase 3 Engineering Services Agreement for the Highway Safety Improvement Program. This is for intersection signalization improvements, and this is for both Fabian Parkway and Orchard Road. And item 9, the last item, approves an amended agreement between Kane County and the Kane County Forest Preserve. This is for additional improvements to the Buffalo Park and Bruner Forest Preserves, mostly related to tree planting and shelter construction as part of the Long Meadow Parkway project. And that's all I have.
Very good. Is there any discussion on any of these items?
Madam Chairman, could we ask the state's attorney to clarify her earlier comment about multiple items on the same motion?
Absolutely. Is the state's attorney on? Can you ask Aaron to unmute? Mr. Shepherd, I know I have seen both happen. If you would prefer, if it is the will of,
She's showing as unmuted.
oh, she is unmuted, is she?
So
Yes, hi, sorry, my computer froze a little bit.
Okay.
See that?
Did you hear the question?
No, could you please repeat?
Oh, absolutely. Mr. Shepro?
Yes. My question was that you had commented earlier about what the voting requirements were for a multiple item motion, and I wasn't sure I understood what is the requirement. Is it appropriate to have one vote on multiple items, or is it required to have a separate vote on each?
So now, typically past practice with the executive committee, and it is acceptable, it's not the only way to do it, but the committee chair would move all of the items a second, and then discussion would be had one by one, and then a vote taken at the end. Now,
one vote?
Yes. Now, if the preference would be to vote them all one by one, that is certainly another way to do it.
Well, my question was solely directed at whether it was required to take a vote one by one, and the answer I hope to get you have given. So,
Consent agenda means that move them all together.
Right.
well, except that this is the proposed consent agenda for the county board. This is not a consent agenda for the executive committee.
That's right. And if I from a perspective, coming at it from a perspective of open meetings act and Robert's rules, for clarity's sake, I would take them one at a time, but it's not necessarily the only way to do it. Certainly if someone's moving a large number of items and there's one in particular that the committee chooses not to move forward with it, it can get sticky because then you'd have to walk back the motion and the second on all of them and remove it. But as I say, it's not the only way to do it.
I think we handled it very well in the finance part of it. So I think if someone wants to withdraw one, we can make a motion as Mr. Shepro did.
No, I got my answer, which is that well, I guess we still sort of got two answers, but I have no desire to have 9 separate votes. I would suggest possibly that the state's attorney might consider forwarding to us a clarifying amendment to the rules of order that would clearly permit multiple items at executive to be moved similar to the consent agenda at the county board.
Thank you for those comments. We'll put those certainly under consideration, Mr. Shepro.
Couldn't Madam Chairman, couldn't we have a item before the consent for that group as to whether any could be removed from this consent agenda and handled individually?
We certainly could, and that is the choice of this executive committee to do that, just as we did with the finance. One was withdrawn. So that practice was just put into place, and it seemed to work very effectively. And I think we were just talking about clarification at this point. I don't believe that any members of this committee has any opposition to this. So if there's no other discussion, and thank you, Mr. Shepro, for bringing that up, and Mr. Berman for your responses, I believe we're looking for a roll call. Is that correct?
Correct.
So may we please have the roll call?
Bates,
Bates, yes.
Berman,
Berman, yes.
Ford,
Yes.
Fries,
Yes.
Gums,
Gums, yes.
Kenyon,
Yes.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Martin,
Martin, yes.
Molina,
Molina, yes.
Sanchez,
Yes.
Strathman,
Strathman, yes.
Surges,
Burgess, yes.
Tepe,
Tepe, yes.
Weber,
Yes.
Shepro.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. And I'm very pleased with some of the items that were brought forward from the Transportation Committee for funding. Some great programs are going to be brought forward for the citizens of Kane County. Is there any reason for an executive session? If none is needed. I would like to just take a few minutes of your time to update all of you in some matters that I will be bringing forward to the full board. But first, I want to announce the formal retirement, resignation, I should say, of Treasurer Dave Rickard. He contacted me over the weekend, and I received via email his resignation dated officially for Sunday, January 3rd. So he has officially resigned. So I want to make everyone notice of that. We wish him goodwill and Godspeed on his new position. And I'm sure he'll have great success there. And he's looking forward to the new challenges in Winnebago County. I also will be bringing up, due to the Open Meetings Act, I did not have appropriate time to post that. We needed the 48 hours, and obviously just coming back on Monday with notification last Sunday. I will be bringing forward a resolution for an interim treasurer for your approval, as well as an interim director of facility management, as we will need both. And then personally, I would like to thank you for all of your kind wishes regarding my husband's illness. I truly appreciate all of your support and kindness with that. Bob has successfully gone through surgery. We have a couple more bumps in the road that'll have to take place. It was but he called me last night at 11:30, and I said, honey, why are you calling me? Go to sleep. But he wanted to let me know that he's alive and well, and is looking forward to getting back and helping me out around the house. So it's good.
That's great news.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm
Madam
very,
Chair.
very excited. Yes, Mr. Shepro.
One, was it someone with recent experience in hospitals? I can attest to how important it is that the spouse of the victim have visitation and attention. A question with respect to two items. One, it is my understanding that the county board is required to officially declare that a vacancy exists in an elective office. And I was wondering if there was a plan to put that on or if it could be put on the board agenda for next week. And
yes.
Well,
that will happen.
And secondly, there was at the last, I'm trying to think, I guess it was at one of the board meetings where we were going to put on the agenda resolutions of appreciation to acknowledge the service of the departing county board members. And I did not see that on the executive agenda.
We're in progress with that. Unfortunately, we have not received all of the plaques, the wording for all of the plaques, and that is a work in progress, Mr. Shepro.
Thank you.
So that it just is an update, and no, but we are being very much attuned to that. To go back to the appointment of the search for the new treasurer, we'll outline all of that. Both the Democratic and the Republican committee chairs have been notified, both via email as well as a formal letter has gone out to both of them. So they are officially acknowledged that we do have this open seat, and I have just acknowledged you as well as a group. So we are following the statute, and I will be in guidance with the state's attorney to make sure that all steps are appropriately followed. We will have 60 days to do this, and it has to meet with your approval.
Thank you.
All right. If there's no other questions, may I have a motion and a second to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Who was that?
Gum second.
Thank you.
Shepro moved.
So we are adjourned. Thank you so much.
Roll voice vote.
Oh, do we have voice vote? All
Aye.
in favor? Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? And we're adjourned.
Good luck, Corrine. Please give me a shout if you need anything. This is Gums. I've been
Okay.
thinking about you.
Thank you. Yeah, Michelle, you and I are two.
Call me if you want to scream.
Corrine, I'm
All right.
so glad
Good
that
news.
things are getting better.
Good news. Thank
Good news.
And good job, board. I'm so proud of everybody.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was amazing.